Hey, it's Nick Funditis here, and answering another question on Reddit as we do on YouTube each week. So this question is from user NowHome2635, and it is about selecting an agent real estate versus an individual real estate agent. So they say first time confused home buyer here. I see that some real estate agents have formed teams. In the same team, some are relatively new, where others have several years of experience. So some teams are under famous brokerages like Keller Williams, Exit, for example, while some are independent. So I was recommended some team names by people around me, and I felt like the team worked together as one. So am I correct? Does it matter which real estate agent you picked from the team to represent you? Or is it better to have the team leader to represent you? Or should I interview one or two from the same team to see which one is a better one to work with? So is it better to work with a real estate agent from a team or a standalone real estate agent? And how do independent teams get MLS info when they're not with any brokerage? So big question. And I mean, there was a credit to Lady Dejan Hart from Alberta here, who already answered some of these parts of this, but it's a big question, so we've got lots of parts to the answer here. So first is just clarification. So number one, generally speaking, all realtors should be able to access the MLS in your area. Um, it might not be a requirement to have MLS membership in some provinces, but I mean, if in doubt, ask the realtor whether they can access. And I'm not talking public portals like Realtor.ca. I mean, like the board's access. I mean, here in Ottawa, we would have the Ottawa Real Estate Board. It's called Matrix or One Home, like those type of systems in the back end of the MLS. If your realtor can't do that, I mean, walk away. That's not somebody you want to work with, especially as a buyer, where that's an important tool for them. Number two is, I mean, even like standalone realtors, they're generally still with a brokerage. I don't know if that's the requirement in every province, but in Ontario, if you were going to, be a realtor, like a licensed member of the real estate profession, you are going to be with a brokerage. Sometimes that brokerage, from a legal standpoint, just might be that agent. It might be, Jane Smith Realty Incorporated, and the only realtor under that brokerage is Jane Smith herself. Most of the time, I mean, most places you're going to go, 90+% of the realtors in any given real estate board in Canada are probably going to be with one of the big ones, and the really big ones are Royal LePage, Remax, Keller Williams, and to a lesser extent, I mean, Century 21, Exit, I mean, might be bigger in some places, but it's pretty small here. Yeah, so I mean, like most of them are going to be with one of those big names. Now, I'm a realtor. I'm a team leader, so I mean, I'm the most experienced one on our team, and we work under one of the big brands. But I will still say that it is not crucial for your realtor to be on a team. It's not crucial for them to be with a big brand. I mean, like somebody with, Jane Smith Real Estate could be just as good as, the big name realtor on the big name brokerage. Uh, but it's more important that they are a fit with you, meaning that they're professional, they're knowledgeable, they're experienced, at least to a certain extent that they can serve you. They're communicative and they're available to you. So, as for a team versus individual, so first of all, if you're looking at an individual standalone real estate agent, you'll always know who you're working with if you're working with an individual. So, meaning that if you work with Jane Smith and she's a standalone realtor, she's going to be with you for every showing. She's really going to get to know what you need and want and like in a home, and she's going to write the offer for you. She's going to make sure that your lawyer has the documents. She's going to be your main point of contact because she's your only point of contact. Um, Downside is that some individual realtor, I mean, there's a huge variety of realtors in all capacities, but I mean, individual agents' attention is getting pulled in many directions. I remember this from when I was a solo agent. We are our own sales, marketing, customer service, and accounting departments. You may find that some of the less organized realtors can be slower to communicate, and they often kind of organize themselves by the seat of their pants. They don't really have like a business plan or a customer service plan. They just kind of go out and do. And if they get busy, I mean, that's a problem because they're getting pulled in a whole bunch of different directions. Last thing is that the main complaint that gets leveled against individual agents is that if they go on vacation, you may just get referred to a colleague at the same brokerage who's not familiar with their file. So, the person you get referred to might have very little information on you. And I mean, it can kind of feel like you're getting passed off a little bit here. Um, as now for teams. So, I mean, I've got a bias here. I'm a team leader, but I will say, I'll start with the disadvantage. If you go with a really big team and they're really focused on just doing a volume of transactions, you'll find this, you can find this if it's like a discount brokerage or something like that, where in order to pay their expenses, they have to do a large volume of transactions. You can feel like a cog in the machine. So, they may not be as focused on getting you in the right house so much as they're focused on getting you in a house, period. So, I mean, make sure whoever you're interviewing seems like they are going to, they're going to give you their time and they're available to you. And that goes with individual realtors too. Just make sure that you're being looked out for. Um, one of the big positives is that you're probably with a team going to get to work with a buyer specialist. And I would say whether that agent is new or whether they're the lead agent for a team, I mean, uh, having a buyer specialist can be a big advantage. So many teams, so including ours, split the roles so that some of the realtors, so like me, I focus on listings, even though I'm a perfectly good buyer agent. I would say I'm quite good at it. However, we've got, say, Kareem, for example, on our team, who I'm pointing because he's on the other side of that wall there. His focus is really on serving our buyers. So he knows in the current market in individual neighborhoods exactly how much he should be able to negotiate off a price. He knows whether current prices are right. He knows what kind of how who's the home inspectors who are, I mean, available and quickly. He's kind of available on your schedule. So if you need to go out and see something the same evening, he can go, he can make that work. It's just really focused on the buyer experience. And the buyer experience and the seller experience are very different roles for a realtor. And so if you have somebody who doesn't have to split their focus back and forth between that all the time, it can be a big advantage for you as a buyer. Yeah, I mean, it's going to help you on the negotiation side. It's going to help you with availability as well. Then as a buyer, with a team, you're going to have access. You're going to have 7 days a week support, sometimes 24 hours a day, depending on the size of the team. I mean, we're not a 24-hour a day team over here, but there's always somebody who's very familiar with your file who's going to be available to you. So let's say you're working with me to go find a home. And I'm off for the weekend. I'm going to Montreal or something like that. Maybe I'm available by phone, but I can't exactly, go show you a house. So, Kareem or one of the other members of our team can go into your file, see exactly the conversations that we've had. He's really up to speed. And in fact, we've probably been talking about you and what you're looking for and trying to help each other, like, find the right spots for our various clients. And if he needs to cover something for you, he's really going to know what you need. So that's a big advantage for, at least for an organized team. And just like individual agents, there's various qualities of teams. So go out and do those interviews. I would say the lead agent is probably, if you're looking between lead agent or one of the more junior agents on a team as to who to work with, I would go with who you click with. So the lead agent might be more experienced. They're often less available because they often have to, their role is often on the listing side and it's harder for them to go out and show properties. Whereas that junior agent might be less experienced, but they could, I mean, if they run into any questions, that's what their lead agent is for. That's a big part of that team structure. So, I mean, go with who you trust and who you're confident to look out for your interests. So which realtor should you pick? Man, I'm almost 10 minutes into this video already, so I hope this is worthwhile. First of all, you're wise to contact a few agents. The ones that you've mentioned that haven't, in the comments there, that haven't gotten back to you, ditch those ones. If they can't be bothered to respond to your questions, or it means that they're either too busy or they don't care, which, I mean, that's a red flag right there. Go find somebody else. Your best bet is to start with referrals from family, friends, colleagues who are like you, who have been through the first-time home buyer process relatively recently, ideally, and then take those recommendations and then vet their online reviews and testimonials before you reach out to a few. And I would say, don't bother with the form on the website. If you have an email for them, or better yet, a phone number, just reach out directly. Ask your candidates to walk you through the purchase process. So that's a big part of the communication, is making sure you know what's ahead. If they don't do this and you want something, particularly if you're Ontario, go to um, our YouTube channel, and you can see our whole purchase process for Ontario, and it's going to be very similar for every province in the country. But ask them to walk you through the purchase process and maybe take you on a couple of showings before committing. So because in the showings, you're going to see what they're pointing out to you, the pros and cons of properties and neighborhoods and stuff like that. You're also just going to get a feel for whether you like spending time with them, which is not an unimportant part of this. So things to look out for include communication. So are they responsive? Do they answer questions clearly, quickly, and on the medium that works for you? So text or email, whichever one works for you. Experience. So a new agent can be great, as another poster said. They often work very hard, but it can be very risky to be someone else's first time. You don't necessarily want to be another realtor's first home purchase. For what I would hope would be obvious reasons. Your realtor should be experienced enough that they can explain neighborhoods, home features, especially flaws to you, and explain paperwork and negotiation strategies in a way that makes sense to you completely. They should be full-time. I strongly, strongly believe that there should not be part-time real estate agents. They should be working full-time and not moonlighting along with another job. So, is it possible for a realtor to make a living as a part-time agent? Sure. Is that right for the customer? No, it's not right for the customer. If you're not available to your clients in this business, you should not be a realtor. It's something that I believe strongly. Last of all is just rapport. Remember, you should like this person. There's enough realtors out there that you can find someone who ticks off all the boxes. So, they communicate well, they're experienced, they're professional, they're full-time, and you like them. It says, so you're going to be spending a fair bit of time with this person. You're going to be having them in your corner during a potentially stressful negotiation. So this should be someone that you can see yourself trusting to look out for your best interests. This is another reason that you may potentially want to take somebody for a test drive to go see a few places before you commit to working with them on a longer term basis. There you go. Good luck on your search. It's a really good question. It's fun to answer because there's a lot of meat to it. And the source here is I'm a realtor in Ottawa and I'm a team lead. So, this is all kind of familiar. If you have any other questions or if you have any comments to this, send it, post it in Reddit, post it on our YouTube, or just reach out anytime. I really like answering these. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Bye.